I don't suppose you'd live alone or anything.
No.
I've got some wonderful caramels over at the hotel if you'd like.
Mr. Hill.
Professor Hill.
Professor of what? At what college did they give a degree for annoying women on the street like a Saturday night rowdy at a public dance hall?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself. Gary, Indiana, gold medal class, out 5.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? And another thing, Mr. Hill, I'm not as easily mesmerized or hoodwinked as some of the people in this town, and I find it only fair to warn you that I have a shelf full of reference books in there, which may very well give me some interesting information about you.
Oh, Professor, we're all agog. Simply agog.
Oh, look at you.
Everyone's so excited about the band. I'm Ethel Toppelmeyer.
And this is Mrs. Squires. And this is Mrs. Hicks. And of course, you've met Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Ta-da! Our mayor's wife. Isn't it exciting, Eulalie?
Oh, I could not say. I couldn't say. At this time, my husband will wish to investigate, and naturally, I am reticent. Oh yes, I am reticent.
Of course, Mrs. Shin, but you see, part of my music plans include a dance committee, a public... No, do that again, Mrs. Shin. Your foot, the way you raised it just now.
Oh, well, I will put you there that bothers me.
Oh, what grace, what natural flow of rhythm, what expression of line and movement.
Oh, Mr. Hill.
You must accept the chairmanship of the Ladies' Auxiliary Classic Dance, mustn't she, ladies?
Oh, yes, you must.
Oh, please say yes, Mrs. Shin.
Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Ah, well, yes. Dancing, well...
Then you accept?
Of course. And I would like to say...
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Shin. And of course, the young lady the librarian, Marion Paroo. After all, she is the music teacher.
Pick a little, tuck a little, pick a little, tuck a little, cheep, 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 pick a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, tuck a little, pick a little, tuck a little, cheep, 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 pick a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, tuck a little, pick a little, tuck a little, cheep, 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 pick a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, tuck a little, pick a little, tuck a little, cheep, 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 cheep,
Professor,
pick a little,
her
tuck a little,
head
pick a
is
little,
long
tuck a little,
on
cheep, 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 pick a lot,
I
pick a little more, pick a little, tuck a little, pick a little, cheep, 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 cheep,
Dirty books.
Chaucer.
Rabelais. Balzac. Pick a little, tuck a little, cheep, 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 cheep,
And
cheep,
the worst
cheep,
thing,
cheep,
of
pick
course,
a little,
I
tuck a
should
little,
be
pick a
telling you
little.
this, but...
I'll tell. The man lived on my street. Let me tell.
Stop! I'll tell. She made brazen overtures to a man who never had a friend in this town till she came here. Old Miser Madison.
Miser Madison? Madison Gymnasium, Madison Picnic Park, Madison Hospital, that Miser Madison?
Exactly. Who would he think he was anyway?
Well, I should say, show off. Gave the town the library too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
She was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That would make brazen overtures. Yet to guarantee she had a golden look in her eyes and silver voice to counterfeit her. Just melted down and nobody a bunch of lead slowly see on here where a woman's heart should be.
Chaucer.
Rabelais. Balzac.
Yes, I have just what you Paroo, do you realize you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
I don't know if I understand you entirely, Professor.
If your son has the same firm cheek and those splendid cheek muscles, by George! Not that he could ever really be great or anything, you understand.
Oh, is that so? And in the name of St. Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all the really great cornet players were Irish. Oh, Clark. Oh, Menendez. Oh, Klein. Oy.
But Professor, we are Irish.
No, really. Well, that clinches it. Sign here, Mrs. Paroo. Your son was born to play the cornet. Fine. That will be $7 in earnest money. Nothing more due until the opening of band practice. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Shin. And of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his uniform.
His uniform?
Hello, son.
Would it have
A stripe? Certainly, my boy. A big red wide stripe running down each side. What do you think of that?
Professor, you'll have to excuse Winthrop. We can't get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. If you get him to play in the band, it'll be a miracle. Where are you from, Professor?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
What's she now?
Gold medal class, all 5. Hello, Miss Paroo.
Mr. Hill,
Who wants to put Winthrop in the band?
you burst in on everyone's home like this.
Marion.
We're not interested.
Now, why not let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
Professor, I do hope you'll excuse Marion. She's not really...
Oh, please. I'm sure that deep down at heart, she's as lovely as yourself. Good day, Miss Porter.
Good day to you, Professor. Marion Paroo!
Has he gone?
I hope not forever, darling. Don't you ever think of your future? Gary, Indiana Conservatory, class of about 5 now, darling.
No, Mama. The fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. Only it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Mama. Winthrop, I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Scrub for the book I set aside. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a large brown volume with black corners on it.
do I have to?
You won't have to talk to anyone. I've written it all down.
What are you up to now? Why do you need books at this hour of the night?
I have a feeling the Indiana Journal may help me poke some large holes in the professor's claims.